Right. Explanations of the principles of a healthy diet. My comment. Back in the days when my mother was receiving all this information, she was told that a series of miracles would take place that would prove that she was genuine. One of these miracles was to be that the brutish scar and skin graft on her left shin that resulted from an operation to remove a borderline malignant melanoma would start to change and would begin to look like a model of the Virgin and Child, but formed in her flesh. Predictably, any of the doctors who she told about this thought that she was completely out of her wits. However, one of these doctors did notice that the scar had started to develop new veins around and within itself, which was unusual for skin graft, placed over a shin bone that had been completely stripped of flesh and covered in a graft from a completely other part of her body, and it was with a slight stretch of the imagination in the shape of the Virgin. So while this was being attempted, those in the other side who were directing this process wanted her to be in the peak of health. They reckoned that my mother was a person who could develop a cancer and that she had the kind of body that would become very arthritic and painful if she did not take extreme care. Also, like so many women after the menopause, my mother had put on weight and they wished her to lose it. Most of us have bodies predisposed to cancer virus and to developing different arthritic conditions, so this advice should be useful to all. Dictation on health. At this moment we are, those who are overseeing the writer's body, in an attempt to bring it to the peak of its normal health. Although this is impossible owing to the fact that the writer, having lived a modern life as a habitual coffee and tea drinker, and like everyone else on this planet, had also breathed and still does breathe contaminated air. For these reasons, coupled really with a life in which the writer has consistently overeaten for many years, our task is impossible, but we have made strides already. The writer will notice herself the improvement in her facial skin, and gradually, as there is weight loss, the improvement in the mobility of her body. This mobility is very important. On this day on which the writer is writing this, she has been advised to eat nothing whatsoever and to drink only water, 1 glass each hour. That is what we here call, in your language, flushing out the system. To modern people of the civilized Western world, the idea of eating nothing for a day, and perish the thought for more than a day, seems like a terrible deprivation. But in fact it is perfectly possible for a healthy person to manage without food for as long as 3 whole days, provided only he or she drinks plenty of water. There need be nothing in the water, but only in colder weather it is better to have it slightly warmed. Many people who have bad skins and all manner of other problems would be far healthier if they realize that for health it is imperative to fast at least once a week. This may seem harsh to the Westerner, but Eastern peoples understand this perfectly and do so as part of their religious rituals, which were told to them as an aid to health. They sometimes carry these facts to ridiculous lengths in such a way as to be injurious to health, which is quite unnecessary. For an ordinary person, a fast of 1 or maybe 2 days is quite adequate. This fasting also prevents the body becoming so fat, as in the case of the West nowadays. In a cold climate, we suggest that 4 pints of water or total liquid is sufficient. But in the case of the writer, we are trying to prepare her body in a special way. We have therefore suggested 8 pints. For very hot climates, 8 pints of liquid that is not acidic is recommended. Too many people who live in hot climates drink sugary, fizzy, acidic drinks loaded with sweet flavourings of all kinds, which are extremely injurious to health and make the blood acidic. The most harmless fizzy drink is soda water, which is alkaline and helps to maintain health. All those who wish to maintain healthy bodies must remember this important point of keeping the body alkaline. In many years of unhealthy eating habits of the Western peoples, all those who have inherent weakness such as rheumatism, blood clotting, heart disease, arthritis, ulcers, and many more diseases of the body develop them in late or early middle age, and sometimes even before this, simply because of their bad eating habits. These are the foods which, although they do not need to be avoided altogether, do increase acidity of the body. Raw salads eaten daily. This must include raw cabbage, tomato, apple, celery, onion, beetroot especially, if it is pickled in vinegar, cresses of all kinds, raw carrot and dried fruits. All these things eaten raw and daily increase the acidic content of the body. Very red or heavy meats eaten to excess. These also will increase the acidity of the body. And here again, they should never be eaten more than 3 times in any period of a week or 8 days. The orange drink recommended to the writer, which is a whole orange, including the peel, pith and juice, cut up and reduced in the liquidizer to a pulp, and passed through a sieve and mixed with a pint of water. This can be sweetened with honey and drunk cold or warm as is most beneficial and is the most beneficial drink, but again should not be consumed more than every other day. It's extremely good for children who get sick of only water and is good for all ages, helping the skin, eyes, hair and teeth. And then they give you a recipe for biscuits for children and adults, which is 4 ounces of bran, 6 ounces of brown flour, 2 ounces of porridge oats, 2 ounces of crushed nuts, any nuts will do, including peanuts, unless someone has an allergy, and 4 ounces of butter. Blend these dry ingredients together with 4 ounces of butter or margarine. Mix the result with enough treacle or dark brown treacle to make a dropping consistency, and bake on a greased tray in a medium warm oven. This makes a wholesome crunchy biscuit very suitable for children and adults alike. We recommend each day, both morning and last thing at night, to have 2 or 3 tablespoons of bran, accompanied by an equal quantity of bran flakes, but not the Swiss cereal too often. This type of cereal should not be consumed more than 3 or 4 times a week, and only first thing in the morning. We recommend as little white sugar as possible in the diet. If possible, eradicate it altogether. Honey is a far more suitable sweetener for almost all things. It can be used in cooking to great advantage, wine making, and also in making of ice creams and sherbets. Freezing fruit juice sweetened with honey, and then when frozen combined with whisked white of egg, this could make a very wholesome summer iced sweet for children as well as adults, and will not harm the teeth. A simple ice cream using cream, honey and flavourings frozen together and then blended with white of an egg will also make a very beneficial dessert. All acidic fruits should be eaten in moderation. This must include strawberries, raspberries, blackcurrants, apples, lemons, quinces, pears, the least acidic fruits and cherries. Many people eat these to excess in the summer months, which is not good for the body. 1 apple in any one day, or an orange, or some other piece of fruit should be adequate for any adult or grown child. Bananas have also been mentioned for their health-giving properties, for all those who are inclined towards cancers or have a history of it in their family. Also, arthritis and forms of rheumatism can benefit very much from bananas, but for those who are disposed towards heart disease, blood clotting or digestive ulcers of any kind, bananas should be eaten only in moderation or not at all. It's sometimes unavoidable to eat heavy meats late at night, and making a regular habit of this can be conducive to all manner of ills, including heart disease and ulcers, as it is unwise to retire to bed with a very full stomach. If it is unavoidable due to some social occasion, then a large glass of water should be taken before going to bed. The main meal of the day is best eaten in the middle of the day, and a light breakfast of cereal and fruit or an egg eaten in the morning. Eggs should not be eaten more than once every other day, as they too, eaten daily in large quantities, will cause acidity in the body. Trouble with eating in the middle of the day is we all work. And in the days when people used to eat large lunches, you just fall asleep in the afternoon. So most of us tend to I tend to eat much earlier, though, than I used to. A simple rule for health, therefore, would be never to drink tea and coffee in large quantities throughout the day, as so many people of the Western world do today. Tea should be made in a china pot and taken mid-afternoon or at tea time, and at no other time. It's not good to take it, especially in large quantities, first thing in the morning, as it gets into the bloodstream more quickly than at any other time of the day. Coffee should never be taken late in the evening, but preferably mid-morning or after lunch, and not more than 1 cup. Those who have been proven to be predisposed to cancers, arthritic or rheumatic conditions should be advised never to drink either beverage at any time. Every day, not less than 4 ounces weighed, and if possible 8 ounces of lightly boiled green vegetables, and also some lightly boiled root vegetable taken with lunch is very beneficial to health. Potatoes are best eaten complete with their skins, as there is a great deal of good within the peel and just below it. 1 small potato every other day is sufficient for an adult, but a child can have one every day, and of course a tall, full-grown man, especially if he is engaged in heavy labouring work, then his diet must be on a somewhat larger scale. But even such people as these would be healthier and better if they ate less, as the body cannot function properly if it's carrying too much fat. This extra weight puts a great strain on the skeletal frame of the body, and the effects can be felt in all manner of ways, causing pain in the hips, knees and feet, and especially in the spine and across the shoulders and up into the head. Even catarrh in the nasal passages and sinus tissues, and all manner of all in many cases stem from a body that's too heavy. These simple rules should be sufficient for any healthy person, with avoidance of all crisps and adulterated nuts and luxury foods that are very over-processed and full of additives and chemical flavourings. Meals alternated between fish one day, meat or chicken on another, with some cheese on alternate days, but not every day. Cheese should not be eaten too much or too often, and this includes cottage cheese and all other cheeses. Many Europeans would be amazed at the smallness of a really healthy diet, as in this modern world most Europeans eat at least twice the quantities of all foods that they ever need for health, and that would without sufficient fresh green vegetables or root vegetables, preferably both lightly boiled without addition of soda or other chemicals, as has been the custom with so many cooks, only a little sea salt. Sufficient liquids drunk each day and plenty of clear, cold or slightly warmed water. This too is neglected. Not more than 1 pint of milk daily. Milk also is very beneficial, not only to children but adults also. These simple rules should be enough for anyone desirous of remaining healthy. And that is that.